Okay, so this is lesson 10.4, area and circumference. And we're going to take a look at some equations, some formulas. So you want to go ahead and commit these to memory. Okay? Now, I'll give you these on the test, but I won't tell you which one is circumference, which one's area, and so on. Okay? So, let's take a look at the first one. Let's see if this works. Does that work better? Okay, we have for circumference of a circle. And that's going to be C equals to 2 pi r. And the circumference of a circle is basically, if I were to erase this up for a second, here's our circle. Okay? Now, if we were to take that circle like similar to like a piece of paper. Okay, here's our piece of paper. All right, and this is in the shape of a circle. Now, if we took that circle and we cut a piece of it and flatten it out, that would be our circumference. Okay, and so it's basically like the perimeter of a circle. Okay, and that's 2 times pi times the radius. Is the circumference. Well, the radius is from the center to the circle out to the edge of the circle. Okay, and that's our radius. Whereas the diameter of our circle goes from one side all the way across through the center to the other side. Okay? So we can say that the diameter is twice the radius. Diameter equals to 2 times the radius. Okay? So, pi. Now, I prefer that you use on your calculator 3.14. I prefer that you use your calculator. But some calculators are the finance type calculators, and they have everything that you need except for the pi button. So, what you can do is use 3.14159. Now, normally you're familiar with 3.14, but I ask that you go out 5 decimal places because sometimes with the larger numbers you don't get the accuracy with 2 decimal places, but with 5 you do for the problems that we're doing. So, not having a pi button is not a problem. Okay? So, if we have a problem where for example, if the radius is equal to 2 inches, and we want to find the circumference, okay? That would be 2, right, times pi times the radius, which would be 2 times pi times 2 inches. Okay? So that's basically 4 pi inches. So now what you do is you put in 4 times pi on your calculator and hit enter or equals, and you get equal to 12.56637 ... and it goes on, right? So if we're rounding to the nearest 10, we go to 5, draw a line, look at the 6. So this will be approximately equal to 12 point what? 6 inches, right? And that's our answer. That's our circumference. Okay? Whereas the area, now what that means is this outer edge So if you, let's say you had a little puppy on a chain, and then the little puppy went round and round and round and round and round, and kind of dug out kind of a circle. Okay, that would be the circumference. All right. Now that little puppy keeps going around, and now it wears out all the grass in this area. Now we're talking about area. Okay? So the area equals to pi r squared, right? So that's going to be pi times 2 inches squared. So that gives us 4 pi.
12 inches. 12.56636.
And so that's going to give us 12.56636. Thank you. So that'll be 12.6, right? Inches. Okay? All right. Okay. Some other equations. Our triangle, or rectangle rather, is length times the width. Parallelogram is the base times the height. And when we say parallelogram, basically a rectangle is a parallelogram. Okay? 4 sides. But what's different, what the difference is between a parallelogram and a rectangle is that a rectangle has to have 90-degree angles. Whereas a parallelogram, all it needs are just both pairs of opposite sides are parallel. Okay? So here's our base. And our height is always going to be perpendicular to the base. Alright? So if you took that parallelogram and flattened it out, okay, took it and flattened it out, you still get, it's similar to length times width, but this width right here may not necessarily be the same as the height. So you just take the base times the height for parallelogram. Okay, triangle, area of a triangle is 1/2, base times the height. Okay, here's our triangle, here's our base. Here's our base, and our height. Again, the height is always perpendicular to the base. So if you have a triangle that comes out like this, obtuse triangle, the height is out. Any other questions for